heading up to the top of this hill right here. And we're in what's probably third growth forest. This was not long ago, well, not long ago, like 80 years ago, a field on both sides of the road. And judging from what you'll find if you go in the woods up here, did a lot of maple syruping. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in this little road right here. And I'll cut the engine. Now if we head over here, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. You know why? It's black fly season here, and if you don't know anything about black flies, let me tell you, they're not to be trifled with. Surprised I'm not mobbed yet. But as I walk over here, you can see beautiful old cellar hole and the remains of buckets, hoops. You can see that metal hoop right there. There's a bunch of them. Old buckets right here. And of course, when you have a cellar hole, be careful, because there's a hoop. And right next to the hoop, there's a well. And if you were to fall down that well, it might be all over but the shouting. My dad used to say that. You know what people often do? I've been coming here for years. They'll take that metal, whatever it was, wagon bed or something, and they'll put it over the top. Sometimes they do this. They put logs over the top. And I always move them. You know why I always move them? Because in the winter, there'll get to be a snow load on top of that set of logs, and that gets covered up. An unwary hunter might take a tumble. And as you can see, there's nothing good going to happen there. So you can see this cellar hole. Really nice. There was some cement being used. I think this would have probably been abandoned. Geez. 19 teens? 20s maybe? You can see that. When you come to a place like this, something to look for. It might be the remains of an old outhouse. There's a hoop right there. See the pit? That might be where an outhouse was at one point. Could have also been a potato cellar. You can see that hoop right there. And there's hoops all over the place, showing us that once upon a time there was a lot of maple sugaring going on here. There's still quite a few maples. You can see a lot of ashes mixed in as well, and young black birch trees growing here. And my friends, the black flies. We love our black flies. So looking at this old cellar hole, oh, we've got a fiddleheads growing down there. I should go harvest them. I will not. Looking at this cellar hole, we have to think, who lived here? And it's interesting because we can see who lived here by just walking across the street over to the truck and down that little road that I parked on. Now, this is Western Mass, where I am right now. I don't know where you are, but if you're in the Northeast, I can guarantee you that there's plenty of old cellar holes like what I just showed you in the woods near you. Back in the day of primary activity, yeah, we had a lot of agriculture here, and people lived spread out. Look at this. Oh, and that's sad. Looks like Walter W. Babcock's wife Betsy's grave was knocked over recently because it was standing last time I was here. I wonder if it was knocked over by a tree falling, or it's pretty sad to see that. It looks like a tree fell because Betsy's grave was over here. But somebody's been in here apparently trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do really. I would have put the grave back where it belongs. But this is a family plot. The Babcock family plot. And if you take a look at that, you'll see that Walter died in 1863 at 83 years old. And there's his wife Betsy. Not that far from here, there's the grave of a, yeah, you can see where it looks like there's an impact. Maybe a tree limb came down. That's one heck of a stone. Probably Lee limestone out here. Here's an old, looks like wood stove cover. Put it back, I don't need that. Somebody was rooting around here recently. I hope they respect the place. But yeah, you've got plenty of these in your area, I'm sure. It's about going out in the woods and finding them. You can see a logging circular saw over there from back in the day. Basically, who comes out here now? Loggers, hunters, fishermen, a few hikers. This isn't on any major hiking route. People exploring, I suppose, people riding quads. When you're out here in the woods, check out the local history. Of course, as I say, these people were farmers, and this, what we now see as woods, was once fields that stretched for miles all around. But a lot of the farms around here were pastures for merino sheep, and they let their sheep graze all over the place around here. And you can kind of tell if you look whether there were a lot of pastures or where there were, I kind of feel like this area right here was probably agriculture. And you'll notice there's not a lot of high stone walls here. There's a stone wall over on the other side by where the house was. It makes me think they may have had some livestock over there. But it's got the more of an agricultural feel to me. Time to get on the water though. Little Benton Pond, Otis, Massachusetts. Right off Route 23. And as you know, the route that Henry Knox took when he dragged the cannons down from Ticonderoga in New York after Benedict Arnold had captured the fort. The winter of 75-76. We're approaching the 250th anniversary of Knox's trek down what is now called Knox's Trail. I'm fishing a north cove on the north end of this fairly small lake. It's probably only like 70-80 acres. But it's a good lake. The state record smallmouth came out of here back in the 70s. It still has smallmouth. We'll catch them once in a while. But it's also got a good amount of largemouth and pickerel. And the state, as usual, does stock it with trout. Now I'm throwing a spinnerbait, and I'm trying to move the spinnerbait at a reasonable clip, not too fast. Not a slow roll either. I'm trying to generate some reaction strikes. I may not stay with the spinnerbait long, but it's worth throwing a spinnerbait because it's one of the baits that I've had good luck in the spring. Now it's May 13th, so it's not that late in the spring. It's right in the heart of it. As you can see, the leaves are just coming out around here. I probably ought to start thinking about throwing a jerkbait somewhere around here. Spinner baits are one of those baits that can be on and they can crush it, or it can be like you're throwing a brick in the water. They're just not interested. I got something good on here. Oh, it's a largemouth. It's not huge. And he hit the fly, it looks like. Oh no, he didn't. He hit the grub. little largemouth. Nothing of any size, but he was on, so there's going to be some more over there. Early spring, they usually stack up. Nice, clean little largemouth bass. Where'll let him go? And we're going to catch another one, I think. So that one didn't even get to the bottom. That says when you throw anything that's a sinking lure, a lure that goes to the bottom, a gets it, a grub, a Cinco, if the lure doesn't get to the bottom and you get the strike, it usually means a stack of fish. It means fish in competition. That's just something to remember. So if you have that experience, and you will, I'm sure you have, remember to get right back into that same area, because there'll be more. There, oh, missed him. Gave it a good whack too. There's always going to be more. Ooh. Definitely one giving it a little pop down there. Somebody followed me in. I wonder what he was. All right, let's get back in there. Another little guy on a spinnerbait. One hook on a spinnerbait makes it easy. Not a big bass, but he was game. And then, that's kind of good. They're hitting spinnerbaits. That might mean that we got something some more substantial out here. Caught like 4 little ratty pickerel. It'd be nice to see some larger fish. The sun is really westering here. And I'm just slow rolling. Well, not really slow rolling. Again, medium speed, I guess. You can see a school off the... Oh! School over there. And it looks like a trout just broke over to my right. Oh, somebody hit the J11. It's a little largemouth. A lot of them in here. Some big largemouths too. Is it a little large? Yeah, it's a little largemouth. Oh! Another stunted little guy. But I'll tell you, there's some big fish in here too. And this is a good sign. I like to see these guys. Down he goes. So we're in the south end of the lake, and the fish are here. Now this is where there's all kinds of lily pads that'll come up in there in the summertime. The whole thing is a big field of lily pads. It's fishable pads too, which makes it nice. I'll have to come back here in the summer. I do usually a couple times a year. Oh, you can hear the schools just blowing up out there. Maybe I'm being stupid for not fishing the schools. They're to my left, they're to my right, there's schools everywhere. There's probably a variety of sizes of fish in the schools. And that variety of sizes means that there might be some that are small enough for our friends that game fish to do their business with. You can see the schools right here. And I'll fire off in front of them. They're very subtle. They don't want to be... You land on top of them, you're going to sound them. It's better to get... Oh, see? But I have a feeling that they do stir up the game fish. Because they're definitely feeding on something. Probably nymphs that are coming up and hatching. It's hard to say. The water's laid right down. It's calm as glass now. That's why it's so easy to see these schools of fish. There's another one straight in front of me there. Oh, there. Looks like somebody took a shot at him over there. Probably all calico bass right here. All calico, all crappie. They're popping something off the surface, it looks like. I don't know what.
They get scared easy. I mean, sure, the ospreys and kingfishers do a number on them, but I don't see any here today. A lot of ospreys running around now. Yeah, the lake's really alive with these little guys right now.
So here's Henry Knox's monument in Otis, Massachusetts. And you can see Henry and the cannons in bronze right there. He brought the cannons through Otis by Route 23 right here on his way to Boston in the winter of 75, 76. As we've been saying, we're going to get more Henry Knox into fishing historic places. But for this episode, we were literally 200 yards through the woods here on Little Benton. Not the best day on the water, but any day on the water is better than a day not on the water. And when you got a little bit of history to go along with it, it makes it even better. And of course, history, I guess, is in the eye of the beholder. So we're looking at Knox right now, but we'll be looking at plenty more soon. Fishing.